just... This is Garalia Fortress? This entire place is built from iron and concrete? Just how much money has the army dumped into building all of this? So, this food. We have salty corned beef, and I think I'm getting a hint of peas from this soup? You could use this bread as a lethal projectile. That's bread? That looks like meat! Seems like this is the hangar for tanks and armored cars. It's kind of staggering to see so many of them lined up in one place. Well, hello everybody and welcome back to Trails of Cold Steel. I've heard of the... Oh, I already said that one last one. Leaving such an important role in the hands of a civilian is ridiculous. The famous Thor's isn't what it used to be. Well, no surprise here. It's like he fills in every box in the checklist for a stereotypical Imperial Army soldier. Anyway, as Fortress Commander, allow me to welcome you to Garalia. Keep in mind, though, that we're constantly on alert for potential threats from the east. I have no problem with your class conducting your field study here, but see that you don't get in the way. Of course, sir. Very well. I'll take my leave here, as I have business to attend to. Whew, he's certainly strict. Well, he is responsible for keeping one of the Empire's most vital defense fortifications running smoothly. Considering the ongoing tensions between the Republic and the Empire, you should be grateful he allowed you to come at all. I won't forget it. Now I'm afraid I must excuse myself after all. As well, whatever. You're welcome to tour the rest of the fortress, but don't try to enter the command center. Of course, good luck with your work, instructor. I'll see you later then. I'm also wondering if this is going to be the only place we can, use Instructor Sarah and stuff. Speaking of, we'll talk to her last. Oh, are you taking a rest, Emma? I did take a short walk around, but everything about this fortress is so imposing. It made me feel a little faint. I feel you there. Looking at Emma now, it's hard to believe that she's the same person who almost single-handedly guided us through that castle. Reen? Nah, never mind. But there is one thing that's been bugging me lately, ever since we arrived in Legram. I feel like, just out of the corner of my eye, I catch glimpses of this small black shadow following us. But ever since we got to the fortress, I haven't seen it. Really? Maybe you were possessed by something. Possessed? Yikes. That's kind of an unsettling thought. It is, isn't it? Whew. I'm glad I told her to go back when we reached Celtic. Yeah, that cat doesn't know stealth. Oh, yeah, Toval gave me a call about what happened to Graham. So you had a mechanical monster show up outside the city limits. Robot. Yeah, Toval looked pretty concerned when we first mentioned it to him too. Do you know anything about them? Well, I'm no stranger to the group that makes them. They go by the name Ouroboros. They're a secret society of sorts that acts in the shadows all across the continent. A secret society? We don't know how many members there are, what they're capable of. Honestly, we don't know much about them at all. What we do know is that they have access to technology more advanced than the most cutting-edge research institutes, and that they've been behind several crises that have threatened to shake the foundation of entire nation-states. And these are the people who made those monsters? Robots. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I'd find it hard to swallow. But there's no denying what we saw out there. Well, you don't need to come to the grips with it just yet. We call the mechanical monsters like the one you fought. I'm just gonna say robots. And lately, it seems like an awful lot of them have made their way out into the black market. There's been one sighting after another these days, all over the Empire and beyond. Wow, that's heavy. Does that mean there's a chance they might be plotting something here in Erebonia? Just in your opinion, I mean. Well, that's the tricky thing about them. It doesn't necessarily mean that at all. There have been cases where we know they put robots out in the wild purely to test their ability, for example. Still, it's something to keep in the back of your mind at least. Right, I'll be sure to let the others know too. I've talked to everyone at this point. Who else could I talk to? Didn't I talk to everyone? Where didn't I go? Where do I go now? I mean, I had to have talked to everyone by now. Uh-huh. Oh! This bulletin is to inform all Thor's students that preparations for today's military exercise are now complete. Please assemble in the hangar immediately. Your transport is standing by. I repeat. That's Instructor Neidhart. The time must have passed more quickly than I thought. I suppose I should start making my way toward the hangar. Maybe I'll run into the others on my way. So, definitely the attack happens while we're watching. We boarded the armored cars and set off toward the proving grounds. Geez, such a small place. Well, get comfy, everyone! We were going straight into a rock. The inside of the armored cars were narrow and cramped, and the smell of machine oil hung in the musty air. The cars shook and rattled over the uneven ground, tumbling us around like an iron coffin on wheels. Eventually, after enduring 10 minutes of jaw-rattling travel, unable to even peek outside the scenery, we finally arrived at Gralia Fortress's military proving grounds. Yeah, this is the place. Every second out here, I'm gonna get ready to hear a boom. Wow. Whatever main battle tanks. There's plenty of older model tanks out there too. It even looks like they have airships here. What was that here? Oh yeah, like the ones we saw in Nord. Welcome. Oh. Be this old man, I think. So that's Elliot's dad. I don't see the family Gosh darn it, why? I don't see the family resemblance. Looks like the hair made the jump from Father to Son, though. Reporting, Lieutenant General. Very good, Neidhart. And Instructor Valistan. I believe. Pleased to meet you. It's an honor to make your acquaintance, Lieutenant General Craig. Allow me to extend my deepest thanks for agreeing to cooperate with us for the Academy's curriculum today. Think nothing of it. Many of these fine youngsters may one day hold positions in the Imperial Army after all. Besides, I owe a lot to old General Vandyck. Ah, and these must be... What a piercing stare. So this is Craig the Red. Elliot, my boy, it's so good to see you again. Huh? Well, it must be half a year now since I last saw you. How have you been? That's a sharp-looking uniform you got too. I've seen the photos, but it looks even better on you in person. Dad, come on. You've still got a long way to go if you want to put on some real muscle. That's a part of me that hoped you'll stay my world cherub forever. But you're a man of Erebonia, and the man of the Empire must be strong, stout, and ready for action. It was for your own good as a man that I held back my tears and enrolled you in the military academy. Dad, I can't breathe. I feel like everything I've been told about him was a lie. Me too. There do seem to be some differences from the stories. You kidding me? He seems like a cool guy. What a delightful commanding officer you have, Major. Words fail me. Dad, knock it off. I'll tell Fiona. Moving right along. I'm Lieutenant General Olaf Craig, Commander of Imperial Army's 4th Armored Division. I've been entrusted with the role of overseeing today's joint military exercise. Pleased to make your acquaintance. Likewise, sir. It's a pleasure, sir. You've got one heck of a dad, Elliot. Believe me, I feel it in my bones. Now, let me give you a brief rundown of what will be happening. This exercise will consist of a simulated battle conducted by 2 of our armored divisions. Armored regiments of the formation's center, infantry, armored cars, and airships will work in tandem, using their maneuverability, I think it's to the fullest to operate the target, to obliterate the targets. As our targets today will be using previous modeled tanks that have been decommissioned from service. Autopilot functionality will allow them to evade and return fire, but they've only been armed with paint bullets. However, all other regiments taking part in today's exercise have been equipped with live ammunition. So you intend to actually destroy the other tanks? It would hardly be a live fire exercise if we didn't. The current time is 1400 hours, right on schedule. Trying to close the door. Come on, close it. There we go. We'll now begin today's joint military exercise. Armored Divisions 4 and 5 commence combat operations. Glory to the Empire and the Imperial Army begin. Yes, sir! 5th Armored Division, Armored Regiment will advance first. Armored Car Regiment and Infantry Regiment, follow their lead. 4th Armored Division, Armored Regiment and Infantry Regiment, advance together. Armored Car Regiment, deploy to the left and right. I think until I go through, puberty again, I don't think I'm going to be able to do deep voice characters well. That's paintballs? Those paintballs are still fired like rockets. Yeah, this is safe. Wow! It's certainly potent. So this is the kind of firepower it takes to fight a modern war. You said those tanks are called whatevers. Yeah, they're a type of main battle tank the Reinford Company developed 2 years ago. I've seen their spec sheets, but seeing their power firsthand tells you what numbers and decibel points don't. That might be the strongest heavy tank on the continent. And the Imperial Army's got a couple hundred of those in the wings, huh? That's kinda crazy. You try fighting things like these head on, you won't stand a chance. That's as true for our own nation as it is for others. I just can't get used to this. Just the sound of the artillery firing is enough to make me start shaking. I don't think that's something you should get used to, I mean. If the sound of guns in warfare ever stopped bothering you, I'd be worried. Reen, I guess this is another kind of strength. Thus, the military exercise came to an end. The 4th Armored Division, led by Lieutenant General Craig, withdrew to an encampment near the fortress. Meanwhile, we returned to the fortress, where Major Neidhart outlined the results of the training exercise. After that, I'm just waiting for this place to start getting hit. Like, seriously. We know it will, and I'm just waiting for it. Sorry you had to wait for us to finish. Don't worry about it. We're the guests here after all. Thanks for your consideration. At the very least, I'd say dinner's a million times better than lunch was. I mean, it's hashed beef day. That's an Imperial Army tradition, isn't it? Ooh, just the smell's making me hungry. Oh yeah, where'd your instructor go? She's a real looker. I was hoping to get a chance to talk to her. She went to see the fortress commander with Instructor Neidhart. She did ask us to eat without her tonight. Ah, right. Well, she's with Major Neidhart. It's hard to compete with those guys in the 4th Armored Division. It'd be funny if they just had Craig the Red, but they've got the Major too. He's kinda scary. Like a division of muscle men. Anyway, we shouldn't keep you tied up any longer. Your hashed beef's gonna go cold. See you tomorrow, guys. Doesn't look too bad. Wow, it's actually delicious. It's like night and day compared to what we had for lunch. You're telling me. Aw, come on, guys. What with all the gloomy faces? You think you guys might have had a bit too rosy of an outlook. What were you expecting to see out there? I'm sure you can understand at least a little of how we feel. It's like, has everything we've learned at the Academy been for nothing? Academics, the arts, individual skill and combat? None of those matter in the slightest in real warfare, do they? It's true. If you're all looking to do is fight a war, you don't need any of those. All you need is plenty of troops at your command, the latest weaponry and overwhelming firepower. Assuming you know the tactics to use them well, and a strategy that employs them efficiently, I suppose. The tanks are even more powerful than I was expecting them to be, too. I remember my mother boasting about their compatibilities when she was trying to sell them to the army 2 years ago, but to be honest, I'm feeling somewhat disheartened as well. I can't see there being a place for swords on the battlefield with weapons like those on the front lines. Well, I don't think that means individual combat skill doesn't matter at all. Still, I think maybe we've been misunderstanding something important all this time. What we saw in that military exercise today was power in the purest form. It has no mortality of its own. It exists to bring about a result, regardless of the ideas or principles of those who wield it. That's true. In a sense, the same could be said of a gun or a sword. And all the way on up to something as huge as Grawia's railway guns too. I think I finally understand why they wanted us to watch that military exercise in the first place. They could have taught us in a less roundabout fashion. Well, looks like you didn't wait for me to start the party. Instructor Sarah? So you spoke with the commander? Sure did. I've got up-to-date info on the trade conference too, as well as all the latest on the terrorists. So there's new information about the Imperial Liberation Front. Anyway, before I get into that, let me explain what you'll be doing tomorrow. In the morning, you're scheduled to participate in the Imperial Army's physical fitness training. In the afternoon, you'll be attending a special lecture where I'll bring you up to speed on that info I just mentioned. After that, you've been granted special permission to view the railway guns. I see. Looking forward to it. Sounds like we've got a pretty packed schedule. Well, we did bring you all the way out here, so we might as well make the most of it. Every nation possesses power in the form of a military, whether that military is large or small. Grawia Fortress just happens to have that power in a very striking, easy-to-understand form. As students of a military academy, you have an obligation to know the scale of the power. The Empire of Erebonia wields at present, a power you might one day be in charge of yourselves. What? Anyway, even a meeting that long couldn't keep me away from trying the famous hashed beef rice. I've heard it's the only decent food they have around here, so I've been looking forward to this all day. And then there's nothing left for her. We should probably finish eating. Yeah, though it's gotten a bit cold now. Maybe I'll go and ask for seconds. Oh, Eustace, if you don't want the rest of yours, can I have it? I'd rather throw it away than give it to you. Click, click. Okay, that should do it. Alright, that covers today's quota. Phew, I'm looking forward to a nice long bath. Well, you know how every time there's a military exercise coming up, the workload gets pretty crazy like this. Still, at least managing inventory has gotten a lot easier thanks to the orbital net. They've got everything hooked up on the network over in Crossbell, right? Wish the Empire would get on that a bit more. Think of the utility. Well, from the sound of it, you need special equipment to send signals through a weird connection, wired connection to make use of it. And considering the size of the Empire, it's probably going to be quite a while before it's a widespread thing here. Huh? An orb mail? Looks like it's from HQ. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This is right here in the problem? No, this right here is the problem with Orbital Net. There's no such thing as off hours, where they can just send you orders round the clock. Huh? What's going on? So get this, they're planning on doing some extra exercise tomorrow. That means we've got to outfit 20 whatever C units by tomorrow 20. Seriously? Might as well start up another pot of coffee. We're in for an all-nighter for sure. Do we even have that many C units left? Actually, another lot came by freight just this evening. Exactly 20 if you can believe it. That's a trap. Guess we'll just have to get it done. Crap, at least let us take a shower. I'm gonna head down to the mess hall and grab some snacks. You want anything? I don't know, I just had to get those guys some kind of voice. That wasn't my typical try and do either army dude voice or just deep voice. Or something. Yeah, let's save. I actually haven't saved in a bit. Haven't saved since we left for Graham. And we're still in chapter 5. When does this end? Tuesday. Oh. You know why they ordered those tanks? You know who's in that tank right there? I know who's in that tank. I don't know who's in that tank. I was about to call it a kank. Yeah, we'll be there pretty soon. At last, after what seemed like enough adventure to fill a week, we reached the final day of our field study. Over in Crossbell State, they were busy preparing for today's keynote session at the trade conference. We spent the morning running through the Imperial Army's physical fitness program alongside some of the soldiers. And after completing it, no easy task, I might add, we sat down to a lukewarm redux of yesterday's lunch. That afternoon, during our special military science lecture, we were presented with a confidential report on the terrorists. The Imperial Reparation Front is in Crossbell? That's right, or at least that's what the Intelligence Division believes. It looks like a known terrorist organization for the Calvary Republic has turned up in Crossbell too. The situation over there is pretty touch and go right now. Oh no! What are the authorities doing? Everything they can, naturally. However, operations are being handled solely by the Intelligence Division. They refuse to tell the Imperial Army anything, just that they have a trusted ally taking care of things. But who does the Intelligence Division trust? You've got to know something about this, right, Short Stack? Well, I do, but I can't really tell you anything. I guess it's not a breach of confidentially to tell you that they're a really strong bunch, though. That's still pretty vague. I've got a few ideas. Anyway, there's not much point in us worrying about that right now. The bigger the issue is our terrorists of the hour. The Imperial Reparation Front are a bigger crew than we thought. Big enough to be in possession of a state-of-the-art military airship, at least. Seriously? An airship? Can we assume Rhineford's the manufacturer then? Correct. Just how something that large found its way into the hands of insurgents is currently unknown. But it seems to be a high-speed model, different from the heavily armed types favored by the Imperial Army. I bet it's from the RF-26 series. There are a number of different models within that series, though. But if they have an airship, that means they're going to be a whole lot more difficult to catch, doesn't it? That's exactly what it means. It's basically impossible to keep tabs on them as it is. With an airship in their possession, there's no telling when or where they'll pop up next. That's quite worrying, especially since Prince Oliver is attending the conference. And Toa's in Crossbell right now, too. Yeah. Damn, now you've got me worrying. Aw, take it easy. I don't think you have anything to worry about with Gramson Lecter over there. Well, that aside, if the terrorist attention is currently focused on Crossbell, does that mean the army, the Empire, is effectively safe right now? You raise a good point, Laura. They did target Princess Alphen during the summer festival last month. It's possible it's just a feint. Maybe they just want us to believe they're targeting the Chancellor. The Railway Military Police thought so too, which is why they've increased the security level here at home. Get out there. The Emperor and everyone else connected to the Imperial Army should be safe. They've also beefed up security anywhere they seem short-handed. As well as prepared I see. As ever, whatever, shut up. At any rate, you've finally uncovered some information on the terrorist identities, correct? That's right, though once again we have the Intelligence Division to thank for that. If you turn your attention to the screen, please. I know that face. Gee. That's the man who kidnapped Princess Alphen and Elise in Heimdall. Not to mention he tried to start a war with Calvert in Nord Highlands. So who is he? His full name is Michael Gideon. He used to be an assistant professor at the Imperial Academy in Heimdall. That man? A teacher? So, an academic. Right. His focus was political philosophy. 3 years ago, he was dismissed from his position due to his intense criticism of Chancellor Osborne's hardline policies. Oh, so getting laid off set him on the road to terrorism? Well, it sounds like the actual reason he was let go is because he was handing out tracts and flyers in public. You'll find these kinds of idealists at the heart of most terrorist groups, though. In seeding a group with their core ideology, correct? They twist it to be even more whatever and radical. You can't even reason with them either. Yeah, they just don't know when to give up. Sounds like some other groups I know.